Vision broadcasting began in India in 1959 as a state-run medium of communication and expanded slowly for more than 2 decades. 429, 430. The state monopoly on television broadcast ended in the 1990s. Since then, satellite channels have increasingly shaped the popular culture of Indian society. 431. Today, television is the most penetrative media in India. Industry estimates indicate that as of 2012 there are over 554 million TV consumers, 462 million with satellite or cable connections compared to the forms of mass media such as the press, 350 million, radio, 156 million, or internet, 37 million. 432. Society. Muslims offer namaz at a mosque in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. Traditional Indian society is sometimes defined by social hierarchy. The Indian caste system embodies much of the social stratification and many of the social restrictions found on the Indian subcontinent. Social classes are defined by thousands of endogamous hereditary groups, often termed as jtis, or castes. 433. India declared untouchability to be illegal in 1947 and has since enacted other anti-discriminatory laws and social welfare initiatives. Family values are important in the Indian tradition, and multi-generational patrilineal joint families have been the norm in India, though nuclear families are becoming common in urban areas. 434. An overwhelming majority of Indians, with their consent, have their marriages arranged by their parents or of the family elders. 435. Marriage is thought to be for life. 435. And the divorce rate is extremely low. 436. With less than 1 in 1,000 marriages ending in divorce. 437. Child marriages are common, especially in rural areas. Many women wed before reaching 18, which is their legal marriageable age. 438. Female infanticide in India, and lately female feticide, have created skewed gender ratios. The number of missing women in the country quadrupled from 15 million to 63 million in the 50-year period ending in 2014. Faster than the population growth during the same period, and constituting 20% of India's female electorate. 439. According to an Indian government study, an additional 21 million girls are unwanted and do not receive adequate care. 440. Despite a government ban on sex-selective feticide, the practice remains commonplace in India, the result of a preference for boys in a patriarchal society. 441. The payment of dowry, although illegal, remains widespread across class lines. 442. Deaths resulting from dowry, mostly from bride burning, are on the rise, despite stringent anti-dowry laws. 443. Many Indian festivals are religious in origin. The best known include Diwali, Ganesh Chaturthi, Thai Pongal, Holi, Durga Puja, Eid al-Fitr, Baka Eid, Christmas, and Vaisakh. 444. 445. Education. Children awaiting school lunch in Reka, also Reka, a village in rural Gujarat. The salutation JP written on the blackboard. Honest jurist, social reformer, and Dalit leader B.R. Ambedkar. In the 2011 census, about 73% of the population was literate, with 81% for men and 65% for women. This compares to 1981 when respective rates were 41%, 53% and 29%. In 1951 the rates were 18%, 27% and 9%. In 1921 the rates 7%, 12% and 2%. In 1891 they were 5%, 9% and 1%. 446, 447, according to Latika Shodhari. In 1911 there were under 3 primary schools for every 10 villages. Statistically, more caste and religious diversity reduced private spending. Primary schools taught literacy, so local diversity limited its growth. 448. The education system of India is the world's second largest. 449. India has over 900 universities, 40,000 colleges, 450, and 1.5 million schools. 451. In India's higher education system, a significant number of seats are reserved under affirmative action policies for the historically disadvantaged. In recent decades, India's improved education system is often cited as one of the main contributors to its economic development. 452, 453, clothing. Women in sari at an adult literacy class in Tamil Nadu. A man in Hoshand wearing a woolen shawl. In Varanasi from ancient times until the advent of the modern. The most widely worn traditional dress in India was draped. 454. For women it took here form of a sari, a single piece of cloth many yards long. 454. The sari was traditionally wrapped around the lower body and the shoulder. 454. In its modern form, it is combined with an underskirt, or Indian petticoat, and tucked in the waistband for more secure fastening. It is also commonly worn with an Indian blouse, or choli, which serves as the primary upper body garment. The sari's end passing over the shoulder serving to cover the midriff and obscure the upper body's contours. 454. For men, a similar but shorter length of cloth, the dhoti, has served as a lower body garment. 455. The use of stitched clothes became widespread after Muslim rule was established at first by the Delhi Sultanate, ca. 1300 CE, and then continued by the Mughal Empire, ca. 1525 CE. 456. Among the garments introduced during this time and still commonly worn are the shalwars and pajamas, both styles of trousers, and the tunics kurta and kameez. 456. In southern India, the traditional draped garments were to see much longer continuous use. 456. Women, from left to right, in churidars and kameez, with back to the camera, jeans and sweater, and pink shalwar kameez. Shalwars are atypically wide at the waist but narrow to a cuffed bottom. They are held up by a drawstring, which causes them to become pleated around the waist. 457. The pants can be wide and baggy, or they can be cut quite narrow, on the bias, in which case they are called churidars. When they are ordinarily wide at the waist and their bottoms are hemmed but not cuffed, they are called pajamas. The kameez is a long shirt or tunic. 458. Its side seams left open below the waistline. 459. The kurta is traditionally collarless and made of cotton or silk. It is worn plain or with embroidered decoration, such as chikan, and typically falls to either just above or just below the wearer's knees. 460. In the last 50 years, fashions have changed a great deal in India. Increasingly, in urban northern India, the sari is no longer the apparel everyday wear, though they remain popular on formal occasions. 461. The traditional shalwar kameez is rarely worn by younger urban women. Her favor churidars or jeans. 461. In white-collar office settings, ubiquitous air conditioning allows men to wear sports jackets year-round. 461. For weddings and formal occasions, men in the middle and upper classes often wear bandgala, or short narrow jackets, with pants, with the groom and his groomsmen sporting sherwanis and churidars. 461. The dhoti, once the universal garment of Hindu males, the wearing of which in the homespun and hand-woven khadi allowed Gandhi to bring Indian nationalism to the millions. 462. Is seldom seen in the cities. 461. Cuisine. South Indian vegetarian thali, or platter railway mutton curry fro modis have foundation of a typical Indian meal is a cereal cooked in a plain fashion and complemented with flavorful savory dishes. 463. The cooked cereal could be steamed rice, chapati, a thin unleavened bread made from wheat flour, or occasionally cornmeal, and griddle cooked dry winking sad smiley. 464. The idly esteemed breakfast cake, or dosa, a griddled pancake, both leavened and made from a batter of rice and gram meal. 465. The savory dishes might include lentils, pulses and vegetables commonly spiced with ginger and garlic, but also with a combination of spices that may include coriander, cumin, turmeric, cinnamon, cardamom and others as informed by culinary conventions. 463. They might also include poultry, fish, or meat dishes. In some instances, the ingredients might be mixed during the process of cooking. 466. A platter, or the li, used for eating usually has a central place reserved for cooked cereal, and peripheral ones for the flavorful accompaniments which are often served in small bowls. The cereal and its accompaniments are eaten simultaneously rather than a piecemeal manner. This is accomplished by mixing, for example, of rice and lentils, or folding, wrapping, scooping or dipping such as chapati, and cooked vegetables or lentils. 463. India has distinctive vegetarian cuisines, each a feature of the geographical and cultural histories of its adherents. 468. The appearance of ahimsa, or the avoidance of violence toward all forms of life in many religious orders early in Indian history, especially Upanishadic Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism, is thought to have contributed to the predominance of vegetarianism among a large segment of India's Hindu population, especially in southern India, Gujarat, the Hindi-speaking belt of north-central India, as well as a tandoor chef in the Turkmen Gate, Old Delhi, makes Khamiri Roti, a Muslim-influenced style of leavened bread. 467. Among Jains. 468. Although meat is eaten widely in India, the proportional consumption of meat in the overall diet is low. 469. Unlike China, which has increased its per capita meat consumption substantially in its years of increased economic growth, in India the strong dietary traditions have contributed to dairy, rather than meat, becoming the preferred form of animal protein. Consumption. 470. The most significant import of cooking techniques into India during the last millennium occurred during the Mughal Empire. Dishes such as the pilaf, 471, developed in the Abbasid Caliphate, 472, and cooking techniques such as the marinating of meat in yogurt, spread into northern India from regions to its northwest. 473, to the simple yogurt marinade of Persia, onions, garlic, almonds, and spices began to be added in India. 473, rice was partially cooked and layered alternately with the sautéed meat, the pot sealed tightly, and slow cooked according to another Persian cooking technique, to produce what has today become the Indian biryani. 473, a feature of festive dining in many parts of India. 474, in food served in Indian restaurants worldwide. The diversity of Indian food has been partially concealed by the dominance of Punjabi cuisine. The popularity of tandoori chicken cooked in the tandoor oven, which had traditionally been used for baking bread in the rural Punjab and the Delhi region, especially among Muslims, but which is originally from Central Asia, dates to the 1950s, and was caused in large part by an entrepreneurial response among people from the Punjab who had been displaced by the 1947 partition of India. 468. Sports and recreation. Girls play hopscotch in Jaora, Madhya Pradesh. Hopscotch has been commonly played by girls in rural India. 475. Several traditional indigenous sports such as kabaddi, kho-kho, pulwani and gilli-danda, and also martial arts, such as Kannur-Dubai and Marmaradi remain popular. Chess is commonly held to have originated in India as Chachuraga winking sad smiley. 476. There has been a rise in the number of Indian grandmasters. 477. Viswanathan Anand became the undisputed chess world champion in 2007 and held their status until 2013. 478. Pashizai is derived from Pashizai, another traditional Indian pastime, which in early modern times was played on a giant marble court by Mughal Emperor Akbar the Great. 479. Cricket is the most popular sport in India. 480. Major domestic competitions include the Indian Premier League, which is the most watched cricket league in the world and ranks 6th among all sports leagues. 481. Other professional leagues include the Indian Super League, football, and the Pro Kabaddi League. 482. 483. 484. India has won 2 ODI Cricket World Cups, the 1983 edition and the 2011 edition, and has 8 field hockey gold medals in the Summer Olympics. 485. The improved results garnered by the Indian Davis Cup team and other Indian tennis players in the early 2010s have made tennis increasingly popular in the country. 486. India has a comparatively strong presence in shooting sports, and has won several medals at the Olympics, the World Shooting Championships, and the Commonwealth Games. 487. 488. Other sports in which Indians have succeeded internationally include badminton. 489. Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu. Indian cricketer Sachin Tendulkar about to score a record 14,000 runs in Test cricket while playing against Australia in Bangalore, 2010. Are 2 of the top-ranked female badminton players in the world. Boxing, 490, and wrestling. 491. Football is popular in West Bengal, Goa, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and the northeastern states. 492. India has hosted or co-hosted several international sporting events. The 1951 and 1982 Asian Games, the 1987, 1996, and 2011 Cricket World Cup tournaments, the 2003 Afro-Asian Games, the 2006 ICC Champions Trophy, the 2009 World Badminton Championships, the 2010 Hockey World Cup, the 2010 Commonwealth Games, and the 2017 FIFA U17 World Cup. Major international sporting events held annually in India include the Maharashtra Open, the Mumbai Marathon, the Delhi Half Marathon, and the Indian Masters. The first Formula One Indian Grand Prix featured in late 2011 but has been discontinued from F1 season calendar since 2014. 493. India has traditionally been the dominant country at the South Asian Games. An example of this dominance is the basketball competition where the Indian team won 3 out of 4 tournaments to date. 494. See also. Outline of India. Notes. A. Jana Gana Mana is the national anthem of India, subject to such alterations in few words as the government may authorize as occasion arises, and the song Vande Mataram, which has played a historic part in the struggle for Indian freedom, shall be honored equally with Jana Gana Mana and shall have equal status with it. 5. B. According to Part 17 of the Constitution of India, Hindi in the Devanagari script is the official language of the Union, along with English as an additional official language. 1, 6, 7. States and Union territories can have a different official language of their own.